We got one watcher already? Wow, I didn't know that you were able to watch it before we even started going live. But welcome to the Bite Size Podcast.
I'm James.
And I'm Zach.
And this is the Bite Size Podcast.
Episode numero uno, dos, cuatro, cinco.
Cinco. I love they just start with one and go from there. I do that.
Yeah, and today we have another quote for you as we started our first and second one with.
Would you like to say it?
I think you should say this one.
All right.
You found this one, and I really think it's a good one.
By Ralph Waldo Emerson. Never heard of him.
Oh, I
but
have.
It's a good quote.
He's got a lot of good quotes.
Yeah. All right. Is he just a quotist? He writes quotes for a living.
I think he was an author and like a philosopher.
Oh, okay. Anyways, the quote is, "It is one of the blessings of old friends that you can afford to be stupid with them."
And isn't that the truth? Whenever you've got old friends, you're always being stupid with them, and all your stories are like, wow, we were so stupid. And that's kind of just a perk of being friends with somebody and being able to
look back.
Yeah, and especially when you guys start a podcast
yourself
together and you've got all these memories. I think you should really go and listen or watch the first episode again, because all those stories, looking back on now, I feel like both of us are like, oh yeah, we had kind of some stupid times. We were kind of stupid at times. Especially when he dead-legged me with a big-ass dog bone from Walmart. We were just walking down the aisle and he did that. Granted, I did punch him in the nuts, so I got revenge. But both hurt very bad. I collapsed, basically. Which is stupid. Yeah, not to collapse. Today we did do it a little bit differently. I came up with some topics, and he came up with some topics. So that's kind of how today's going to be. We'll see how long we feel like talking about each topic. But I did have a little bit of news first. As you know, the first episode is live.
Just about everywhere.
Yeah, it's available on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Casts, Stitcher, Radio Public, and will soon be available on Apple Podcasts on iPhones. Apple just has to approve that, and that takes a couple days. I got to make sure that it's actual podcast stuff, not spam or whatever.
Copyright.
Which it's not. And yeah, we are not using copyrights other than Killjoy, which is the guy we were talking about at the end of episode 3.
Really good EDM house artist. That
and
my
dubstep, yeah.
brother-in-law hooked us up with, I guess. He's pretty good. Check him out on Instagram, YouTube.
I will try to start posting a link to his actual album or his Facebook page or something, so you guys can check out more of his stuff, or at least link you to that song that we used for the intro, because it is pretty good, and you guys should go check out Killjoy if you're into that kind of music.
Yep.
Hopefully you like the new intro and stuff like that audio.
I came up with the quote today, and I read the quote today. You should start with your topics.
Okay, fair enough. So the first question is something that I asked my wife, and it really kind of became a deeper thing. So the question is, if you had control of a train and it was coming towards your mom, and the only way to save your mom was to kill like 1,500 people on a train, would you kill the 1,500 and let your mom live, or would you let your mom be hit by a train to save 1,500 lives on this train? Just strangers, or your mom, but 1,500.
To be honest,
strangers. That's a tough question, isn't it?
I don't know, because to be honest, I would let my mom die. But to be honest, my mom's a very understanding person, and I feel like that's what she would want me to do in the first place. You know what I mean? If I would have saved her and been like, yeah, by the way, 1,500 people died
so that you could live.
So that you could live.
How much
I feel
guilt
like she
is that
would
on
be
you?
much more angry at me than she would if I.
Right. That's a layer I didn't even think of at first, because I started thinking about this question, and it was like, well, I would probably save my mom. Hopefully, I can not think about 1,500 people. But then Ashley brought up, yeah, but she will have to think about 1,500 people dying for her to live. That puts your life in a whole different crazy perspective.
Yeah.
So,
there's two angles.
Once you think about it from both yours and the person you save's perspective, it is so insane that this could affect it like that, you know?
Yeah.
And depending on how it does, would they want to be saved?
So when Ashley
what
brought
would
up that
they
point,
do?
when Ashley, your wife, brought up that point to you, did it make you change your mind?
Ooh, that is a good question because I haven't quite decided yet. She said that and it kind of made me question everything. And I'm not sure because at that point, yeah, I probably would change my mind and save the 1,500 people. But it's going to suck a whole lot either way. Like, this is just a depressing question. So maybe we should move on to one of your topics. But if you guys are watching this on YouTube, we'd definitely love to hear what your answer to this would be or any thoughts you have on this because I think some of these topics are pretty deep and we would love to hear what people who watch and listen to us have to say about them as well. Maybe we can even talk to you guys on the show about the kinds of things you guys feel about our topics. Oh, and one more thing. Sorry to interrupt. If you guys didn't hear, the Bite Size Podcast is only going to be about 30 minutes now, so we will try to get it started.
A minimum of 30 minutes.
Yeah, if we have to keep going, then we definitely will. We're not going to just stop because it's 30 minutes, but, you know, we don't want to waste your time. Don't need to waste our time.
It kind of just, if we feel like it's going on a good flow, why stop it? And if it is past 30 minutes and we feel like kind of ran out of things to do, we can stop it then too. Like,
right.
It doesn't really matter. But it will be a lot easier for us to fill in hours or fill in a half an hour video than, you know, do a whole hour. Because before we were kind of hanging on by the edge at the end. For about
that's
20
true.
minutes
We just want to kind of give ourselves the freedom to make it however it's going to be the best.
And yeah, as best as possible for you guys.
Definitely. So, anyway, sorry about that interruption. What is
especially anyone watching live, no editing, like anyone watching on YouTube.
Yeah, once it's edited, it's one thing, but you guys are the real MVPs who watch it live. So thank you for watching.
At the moment,
Is this Mickey?
You guy. I have no idea.
Okay. Well.
If it was Mickey, she couldn't tell us because they won't let her comment for some reason. Fix it, YouTube. Anyways,
Hey, can I ask you another question?
What?
How is Mickey doing? Because you guys are kind of in a long-distance relationship, right?
We talked about this before the podcast, and this is one of Zach's
topics. We kind
of
stopped it, though.
So I will be doing 2 topics next.
Okay, sorry.
2
but
topics in.
I am curious.
My girlfriend is...
She just came up, right?
She's doing good, yeah.
I don't have to be old news in 2 weeks.
She came up. It stayed Wednesday through Sunday because we had a wedding on Saturday to go to. One of my best friends, I was in the wedding. But yeah, she's all right. We have a long-distance relationship. Mickey lives about an hour away from me, and we have no way of getting to each other at the moment. So...
frequently, anyway.
Yeah. So we just miss each other a lot, but we work through it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people have been there. I know I have. And
I've tried long-distance relationships.
It really depends how long it is, too, because
yeah.
If she lived a lot further than that away, it'd
really
be
how
really
you
rare.
feel about that person.
Yeah, it puts it to a whole new test.
Anyways, should I do some questions?
Yeah.
Mine are more on the funny side. They can be. I don't know.
Sorry to get so deep with that first one now.
Yeah, exactly. What movie would be greatly improved if it was made into a musical?
Oh, okay. Okay.
What movie would you like to see be made into a musical?
I was going to say School of Rock, but they already have a Broadway musical of that now.
That's technically a musical, I think.
Yeah, I guess a little bit.
The characters in the movie are singing.
So you're talking about just like a straight movie that doesn't have any music, turn it full musical.
Yeah. Doesn't have any people singing or anything.
Okay. What movie? I can't see a lot of big movies as musicals. You know, I feel like that kind of takes something.
Which one do you think would be
away?
Funny as a musical?
Funny as a
musical. Because the first time I read this question, the first thing that popped in my head.
You know what one is? Catch Me If You Can. They did make a musical of that, and that turned out pretty good.
That doesn't count then.
And then no, I'm just trying to process this. They also made one of Legally Blonde.
Yeah.
So what kind of movies are like that would translate well?
Those are two completely
musical
different genres, though.
Yeah, that's true. Those are pretty different.
Comedy and suspense, basically.
You could do.
Get Smart, the musical. Could you imagine?
Yeah, for real. They could do.
Hop on it.
There's actually
no, but for real, the first thing I thought would be. First thing that came to mind to me was like Fast and the Furious. Could you imagine if that was a musical?
You'd have to be in a stadium or something.
Singing while street racing. Vin Diesel.
Yeah. It would have to be like broadcast on a screen at a like car racing stadium or something, you know? Like to do a musical of that.
I feel ya.
Are we talking like movie musical or are we talking like Broadway musical?
That's a good question.
Because if it's a Broadway musical, that's hard to do with cars. Fast and the Furious, that would be cool to see if they could pull that off.
I was thinking like movie musical then.
But movie musical, yeah, that could be done. Especially with The Rock. He'd be driving along like, you're welcome. Like, really? It's like, yeah, I'm The Rock. I'm the same character in every movie. And I'm in every movie these days.
You're arrested. There's a cop in that movie.
That would be awesome. They should reference other Rock things and just make him so meta that he becomes a meme.
The Rock, the musical.
Yeah, for real. Every Rock movie should be about The Rock going through all of the Rock movies. I feel like that would make for a better movie musical than any individual movie becoming one. I feel like if it was The Rock or some other character like that going through all of their old movies, especially like Harrison Ford, if you could get him to make like a crazy idea movie about him going through all the Star Wars movies and he reprises those characters that like he died and everyone was so bummed because they're like, we love Han Solo, and then if I can spoil The Last Jedi, which you saw, right?
No.
You never saw The Last Jedi? Are you not into Star Wars at all?
Not really, no.
Well...
Lightsaber through.
Luke died at the end. And he's like the main character from 4, 5, and 6. And everyone was so upset. They're like, you're rebooting the series to kill off Luke and Han Solo. The two main people. Like, Chewie's alive, but all he does is... Can you do that? Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, he's around, but he only does that, so that's whatever.
Just make a whole movie about
Leia's... you should, yeah.
Chewbacca the musical.
There you go.
Oh.
It'd be Chewbacca.
Do they have a Star Wars musical?
They should. That would be cool.
Shit.
Yeah. Well, if we're talking movie musical, I think also really cool would be like The Labyrinth. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
It does have like 2 songs in it. But if you could make the whole movie like a full-on musical, especially if it's like Les Mis, because that whole thing was music.
And dramatic as hell.
Oh, yeah. That
Trust
play
me,
was
we were in it.
really fun. But man, was it dramatic. But the cool part was, I feel like everybody got to be in a lot of it, because it's such like a public thing.
Stop, wait. We're up to 2 people and 2 likes.
Whoa, whoa! 2, speaking of which. On the audio-only version, we just talked about tutus.
And doo-doos.
And cacas. Anyway. This is what we do, coming up with ideas. Hopefully you guys like this podcast, but there is audio of that before. Unfortunately, you got to go on Patreon and donate $3 to listen to that. It's $3 for each month you want to listen to those in. If you stop donating, that's cool. Any support you guys give really helps out the channel and everything, and there's a ton of cool perks, including me sending you a hand turkey for you to high five. But anyway, let me move on to my next topic. Do you know about Elon Musk?
Yeah, sort of.
Elon Musk is like this crazy super genius guy who's super rich, essentially a Batman supervillain, and he was
also the king of the Illuminati.
Probably, I'm sure he is, man. He invented Tesla.
Yeah,
which is like the best
That's
electric
all I know about
cars
Elon
possible.
Musk.
Is it?
Yep.
Do you know about the Boring Company?
Nope.
So Elon Musk started this company called the Boring Company, and it's like, if it's so boring, why are you making a company about it? And what they do is they bore into the ground and make tunnels for people to drive on. And
so it's like boring as in
boring into the ground.
B-O-A-R-I-N-G.
Yeah, but it's just called the Boring Company because it's boring. But he spells it B-O-R-I-N-G, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but
What
anyway,
do you think they're doing?
They're making tunnels under the ground so that people can drive on there to rival highways. Because they say, why are you building up when you could be building underground and you can go way faster underground? And he wants to create like train cars and stuff, and it'll be crazy. But that's the whole goal. They created a flamethrower and gave it away to anybody who paid like $300, I think. Maybe it was more than that. I don't remember. But a bunch of people just have flamethrowers now. You think it's a good idea for this guy to create flamethrowers and give them to the general public who just pay him? That's a deadly weapon. And it's the Boring Company, but he released a flamethrower as his only product so far. Like, that's not boring at all.
Right. I better get
This is
rocks.
the most interesting company I've heard of, and it's called the Boring Company.
I mean,
It's clever.
I would have... I don't know. I'd buy a flamethrower for $300.
Oh, yeah.
If it was quality, a Tesla flamethrower? Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Right.
Especially if Elon Musk did.
Yeah.
If he put work into it, hell yeah. Why not?
Elon Musk then created another company that is going to Mars. It's called SpaceX, and essentially since he's a billionaire or whatever, he created this rocket, and it can send a colony to Mars. They're going to get there after traveling for 1 year, 360 days approximately, and they have to colonize on Mars, get housing, get food, and then start looking for fuel to get back to Earth to make a return trip. And they just got to live on Mars until
they find fuel to make a return trip?
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
And it's millions of dollars to go.
What if there's no fuel? How do they know that
they're volunteering to colonize? If there's not, then they just live the rest of their life on Mars.
No.
It'll be like SpongeBob, man, when they build like a dome that has atmosphere that we can live in. I don't even know.
Do I look like Sandy the fucking squirrel?
A little bit, man. No. Your tail is.
I don't care how much you're paying me.
Are you from Texas?
No. Don't care how much you pay me. Not gonna happen. No.
I think it's interesting. I don't think I personally could do it, especially because that means you have to spend 360 days on a little rocket ship with a bunch of random people who paid millions of dollars to do this. No one wants to be around the same people for 360 days.
Especially that close.
And especially not strangers. You know? Like, that is
Rich,
not
snobby
that
strangers.
Good. And people are paying way more. Like,
And scientists
You can take a ride on my back,
know.
and I'll pretend like we're going to Mars. Be like, for less, like I'll pay me a quarter of that, and I'll do that for you. Like, for real, that'll pay my living for several months.
Not to mention, I'd have nothing to talk about with scientists for a whole year. Like,
yeah, that's true. And
like, so when you get there, what are you gonna do? I'll be like.
Supposedly, though, people think there's going to be, like, families getting started on the rocket ship, you know? People are going to have, like...
Within a year, they think people are going to get attached to each other and have sex and try to start...
It's a lot of people who are willing to go to Mars forever, though. So, isn't...
How much would that suck? Get to Mars, and then when you die, you find out your soulmate was on Earth the whole time? Like, you left them behind?
Damn.
Like, if you wouldn't have gone to Mars the next day, you would have ran into this chick in Walmart. Like... Why?
That's crazy. Yeah, that's a deep thought. Wow, I hadn't thought about that. But
and you gotta think, if your whole family doesn't come,
right? Because
and you can't make
even
it
if
back,
you don't have like a family,
you get up there.
You've got somebody on Earth.
You get up there, make no.
Everybody
friends.
has people on Earth. Yeah.
What happens at your Mars funeral? Nobody comes.
That is next
it
level
deep,
deep,
bro,
man. Yeah. Going. Sorry, mine are so deep, man. It's. Yeah. I didn't even think about having Mars funerals where nobody comes. It's not like your family can pay millions of dollars to come out, unless your life insurance policy pays for that. Can I get a life insurance policy on Earth for going to Mars? Seems like
Elon Musk better
risky
be
thing.
Paying for my family to come down. And you better freeze my body for a year so they can make it.
They did just find a lake on Mars. It's buried under like a foot of ice, but there's a bunch of ice and a lake.
Sweet, Mars has a skating rink. I die alone.
I'm just saying, it could get to the point where some people have to take one for the team for all of humanity to move to Mars. Because Earth is dying. We've got global warming, we've got all these natural disasters. At some point, another planet's going to be real nice. Earth is... People are making it horrible. And all these governments and stuff. You know, this isn't the way the world is supposed to be lived, if you ask me. Why do we have artificial people in charge of different factions and stuff, and so many countries that are trying to nuke each other? Like, if Earth gets nuked, those people on Mars are going to be really glad they left their families. Because it's either, at that point, it's like The Walking Dead. It's either live on Mars or you just died from the nuke that North Korea and Donald Trump, Kim Jong-un ends up killing everybody. Like, listen, Kim Jong-un, if you are going to nuke it, do it because I'm saying here on the Bite Size Podcast that you're a little short, weird guy. So, hopefully, your next missile says, I'm a short, little, weird guy.
Who likes Western culture but doesn't like Western culture?
Yeah.
The fuck kind of sense does that make, Kim?
And
Kim Jong-un, not my mom.
yeah, we were just talking about guys named Kim because his mom's name is Kim. So Kim Jong-un, yeah. His mom actually just said on the audio thing, I think, that she knows several guys named Kim. Is she talking about Kim Jong-un's whole line? Kim Jong-un, Kim Song...
Kim Jong-2.
Kim Jong-3. But the
Kim
prequels
Jong-dos.
aren't good, so the next series of Kim Jong-uns will be great. And then, you know, everyone will hate Kim Jong.
Is there a way to just nuke? I don't know.
Nuke Mars? Not yet.
Eastern part of California.
Well, there was a petition to split California into North and South.
California?
Yeah, because they said the government was so big, the people on the top of it were not getting their voices heard, and the people on the bottom were
Cal for life, brother.
Yeah, I mean...
That sucks.
I could see it, and the populations were less dense, so they didn't have as much of a say. So they're like,
right,
why can't we split this and get our government actually fair?
No Cal for life, bro.
But could you imagine if there was 51 states and California was 2 of them? It's big enough to be now, but...
I mean, North Carolina, South Carolina.
North Dakota.
Dakotas, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It would be weird now because all we've known is one California. But the future generations who haven't been here, that's all they would know. So it wouldn't be weird in them.
Well, I don't even really know California. We've barely met. Take a bite out of that.
Take a bite out of that. We should end all the podcasts with that. Take a bite out of that. And let us know what you think in the comments down below.
There is one more part of this whole thing, though. What do you think about Donald Trump's Space Force? I know I've told you that he decided to create a Space Force as well as the Air Force, Navy, Army, Marines, and now the Space Force. Just because there's an Air Force doesn't mean there needs to be a Space Force. What are we fighting aliens? Like, I hope it helps NASA.
He's trying to one up Elon Musk, bro.
That's true. Maybe he's like, why are we letting this outside guy do it? Why can't I do it as president?
His Space Force is, we're going to find fuel on Mars. His Space Force is like, sorry, you can't come back. No passports. Where's your Earth passport?
Oh, Earth passports. That would be the best way for us to pay off our national debt.
Yeah.
I hope Trump does that. As well as, like,
are you an Earthling? See your passport.
Right? Why shouldn't we welcome aliens? I feel like Trump probably knew that there was aliens. He probably got to know the secret president information, and they were like,
yeah, he's in Area 51.
Here's Area 51. Right, and he's like, what? This is Area 51? And then he goes and is like, there's aliens. We gotta create a Space Force. This is some scary stuff.
No, it's even scarier. There's Area 51, but no one knows about 1 through 50.
Bum, bum, bum. Actually, I think areas 1 through 50 are like...
military bases?
Yeah, yeah.
Space Force bases.
Maybe it's been a real thing. No one's just named it yet. And Donald Trump was like, yeah, this is a thing that I knew about as president, but now you can all know, and we're going to call it the Space Force. Surely somebody was researching that before now.
Wasn't there like a Space Force on Power Rangers?
I'm sure there was. Power Rangers has had everything.
Power Rangers.
Anytime you can take a show that's been made in another country and just add American cutscenes when
SPD,
they're not.
Space Patrol.
I think it's STD.
Why would it be STD?
Because they introduced the pink Power Ranger. We got our third watcher. That was a good joke. Hopefully you didn't miss that third watcher. Go back about 45 seconds if you missed that. I thought that was a funny joke.
But for real, SPD I think was like Space Patrol Delta or some shit like that. Power Rangers.
Donald
Trump got his idea from Power Rangers. Copyright. Get that shit, Power Rangers.
Ding, ding. In this court of law.
Hasbro's got your ass.
Donald Trump's getting sued by Power Rangers.
Yeah, it's Hasbro, right? They own the rights to Power Rangers?
I think so.
Yeah, Hasbro's got your ass, Trump. Man, I just told him about it, so.
Wow, we are just insulting all kinds of political leaders on this one.
Oh, no, I'm saying Hasbro's got him. He's going to sue the shit out of him now.
I know. We're saying Donald Trump's going to go down by Hasbro. Kim Jong-un is a short little weird guy.
He's going to nuke only the south side of California.
Yes. Stay civil, Kim. We need to keep this contained.
We lost a viewer. Oh, he's back. Now he's gone again.
Oh, nope.
No, he's gone.
Okay. Well, anyway, I think we are about to end it unless you have something else to say.
If animals could talk, what kind of animal do you think would be the rudest?
A parrot. They can talk. They're already assholes.
No, I don't know.
A lion, maybe. They'd be always lying.
And that's where we end the podcast, guys. Check out Killjoy Official on
Killjoy.
Instagram.
He's a good artist.
Also,
doing our
James
intro.
720 on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. And then check out the audio-only stuff on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, Radio Public, soon to be Apple Podcasts. It's a lot of fun. There's audio-exclusive stuff, better sound quality. You can listen to it with the app off without having to jailbreak your phone. and we will be on.
Jailbreaking is illegal. Don't do it, kids.
It's not illegal.
Say it.
Jailbreaking is illegal. Do it only if it's
secure.
Yeah. Keep it safe. And if you ever play an instrument, please practice safe sax.